Welcome back to The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest take in the sports industry. While you're taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm John, your host, and today we'll talk about my thoughts after the NBA trade deadline and how these trades have looked after the trades were made. Then we're going to talk, can the SEC have four number one seeds in March Madness? Finally, how I think Kansas State can make a run to the tournament and possibly be a dangerous team in March Madness. All right, folks, let's talk about the NBA and some of these big trades. First, the biggest trade of all. Luka to the Lakers. Luka in a Lakers jersey feels weird, dude. It's like using single ply when you're used to double ply. It just doesn't feel right. Luka on the Lakers, they have played two games against the Jazz, coincidentally, same team. And obviously, they beat the Jazz the first time, and then they lost the second, which was confusing. And, even though it might start out rough for them, we all know how it's gonna end. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. I don't think they're gonna win it. I don't know. I don't think this year they can win the championship, but in the coming years, I mean, Luka is really all you need. The Mavs showed that last year. So I think that eventually they'll win a championship. I just don't think this year, but obviously we know how this is going to go for the Lakers. But on the flip side of this trade, Anthony Davis in his first game was, I mean, vintage Anthony Davis. 26 points, 16 boards, 7 dimes, 3 blocks. But in classic AD fashion, he got hurt again. He's going to be out for, they didn't say a specific timeline, like a specific number of weeks, but they said multiple weeks. And he's more fragile than a gas station toilet seat, guys. And I just, the Mavs, when they have AD, I mean, we saw they're dominant. They're dominant. AD's playing at the four. He's not used to playing at the four. He's used to being the five for the Lakers. And we saw in his first game as the four, he had 26, 16, 7, and 3. So we know the production is going to be there, but can he not get hurt? Because yes, Kyrie can hold this team afloat for a while without Anthony Davis. Yes, he can do that, but I don't know if it's going to last, the rest of the season, the rest of the duration of the season, because that's a lot of pressure on Kyrie. And I don't see him being able to play that well and consistent for multiple weeks, considering they just lost Gafford. They just like PJ. The Mavs are hurt right now, and I think when they're healthy, they're dangerous because you have these guys at the five, so AD doesn't have to play the five. You have AD who's dominant. We know. We have Kyrie. Max Christie has been really good too since that trade. So they have a lot of pieces. Their big pieces have to be healthy because they have a great supporting cast, but they don't have the healthy stars right now. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Now another trade I want to talk about: De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs. Since being on the Spurs, he's averaged 22 points, 8 assists, and 2 steals. And him paired with Wemby looks like it's going to be a scary thing to come in the coming years. Now, the Spurs, I've said that I think they can make the play in, but I don't know. They already have surpassed their win total from last year, which is, I know, I mean, sad but good. They will. I don't want to say they're going to make the playoffs this year. I just think the Fox edition is just a little bit too late. I mean, they're 23 and 29 right now, so they still technically have a shot, but it's a very slim shot, I think personally. And I think if they make it, they're losing in the play-in. I think that what they should do is not like tank, but in a sense, try and get a better draft pick because this is one of the best draft classes we've seen in a while. It's very loaded. So I think if you can do that and you can find, someone who fits your team, another shooting guard or a small forward, then you got a scary squad because you already got Castle and Fox. That's already going to be a scary one too. Then you got Wemby. Then you have Sohan, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. You have guys. So I think if they can get another high round pick it'll be scary. And on the flip side, the Kings, Zach LaVine has only been averaging 19 points and is shooting 20% from three. Someone needs to check if the ball he's using is deflated or if he's just got the shooting touch of a guy who just finished an all-you-can-eat buffet. I I don't know what the issue with Levine is. He started this season off with my Bulls really awful, and since then he was really good, and now he's been on the Kings. Now, yes, it's only been like 5 games, but he hasn't been the 20-point per game scorer that we're used to seeing Zach LaVine as. And then the final big trade I want to talk about is Jimmy Butler on the Warriors. Now, he's fit smoother than a clean flush. And no, yes, I know it's only been 3 games, but he's averaged 22 points, and he looks like he can finally take some pressure off of Steph. Now, when they won the championship in 2022, Steph played amazing, obviously. But Wiggins was a big piece of this, and it was Clay a little bit, but it was mainly Wiggins and Steph Curry. And I really do think that Jimmy can do that for him. He's played really well since he's been there. And maybe just he needed a switch of scenery. I feel like we're kind of saying this all the time though with Jimmy is we think he always needs a switch of scenery and then he's there for what a year or two and then complains and finds his way out. So I don't know. I really do think though that because they've taken Jimmy's starting to take pressure off of Steph Curry because of, all that pressure that was on Steph before. Steph doesn't have to go out and give you 30 to win. Jimmy can give you 20 and Steph can give you 24 and you guys will still be in the game. So I think that addition is a great addition and I do think they can make some noise this year in the playoffs. I don't think they'll be able to win the championship, but I think they'll make some noise. I really do. So and then the next thing I want to talk about, the NFL season is over. Sadly, I love my NFL. I love my Bears. But that means we're all in college basketball. March Madness is coming, baby. It's February 14th. We're about a month away from March Madness happening. So, I think the best time of the year, Cinderella stories, absolute chaos, bracket busting heartbreaks that are worse than having a Chipotle burrito before a long road trip. And this season especially has been, I think, one of the best. And when I'm talking to one of the best, I'm thinking of the SEC. SEC has 9 teams in the top 25 and 5 in the top 10. That is crazy. Think about that. Half of the teams in the top 10 are in the SEC. That is crazy. It's like a restroom, walking into a restroom and every single stall is clean and open. Unbelievable. Now, according to Joe Lunardi's bracketology, we're looking at Auburn, Alabama, and Duke as the number 1 seeds. But Duke, they haven't really beat anyone. They beat Auburn early in the season in Arizona. Okay, that's okay. But overall, the ACC is a very weak conference, and there's not crazy good. I mean, Clemson, but they lost to Clemson. So, you know what I mean? They don't have a great statement conference win. And yes, I know you can't control how good or bad your conference is, but I really think the team that I think can be the number 1 seed, another number 1 seed, is Florida. I think if Florida wins out, especially because they just won at Auburn, I think they have a shot to be the number 1 seed. And I think there's a legitimate shot that the SEC could be the first conference in history to have 4 number 1 seeds in their conference because Florida has multiple very good ranked wins and Duke, yes, I'm not saying Duke is not talented. Duke is very talented. But when you're building a roster and a schedule to try and get these number higher seeds, the committee looks at your wins. They don't have a bunch of ranked wins. So I just don't think they have enough to back them up to be that number 1 seed, if that makes sense for you guys. But do you guys think that the SEC can have 4 number 1 seeds? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now let's talk about Kansas State, guys. These guys are on fire. They started off the season looking worse than a clogged toilet at halftime. Like midway through, I call it halftime. Midway through that season, they were 7-11. They ranked 108th in net ranking and 95th in defensive ranking. But since then, they've won 6 straight. And in those 6 games, they have ranked 17th in net and are now ranked 14th, or not 14th. 4th in defensive rating. This is like a do not enter level bathroom to a 5-star luxury day experience in just a few weeks. And here's the kicker, guys. They spent $2 million on Coleman Hawkins alone, a fifth-year player with March Madness experience. You know, he made it all the way to the Elite Eight with my Fighting Illini last year, so he has experience. He can bring this team, and we've seen him. They beat West Virginia. They've beaten Iowa State. They beat Kansas. They beat Arizona. They've beaten these teams, and they ran through this rough part of their schedule. That was their rough area, and they won all 6. And now they have a real easy, not easy, but the lower bottom feeders of the Big 12. And I really do think if they win out, besides winning the Big 12 championship, I do think they can qualify just because of these ranked wins. The Iowa State win at Iowa State is a very big win, and I think if they're on that bubble, they'll get a benefit of the doubt because of how good that win was, and they won by 20 points. And Coleman Hawkins is he is the go for this team. He is, he was brought in for that reason. I saw him at Illinois. He does everything. He passes, he scores, he shoots. He does everything that a team wants. And he's kind of their go, their giddy up, and we've kind of seen that those past 6 games. He's played really well. I think that they are a very, very dangerous team. I think I like to relate them a lot to the NC State team last year. No one really is talking to them, and they both kind of got hot around this time. So I think Kansas State, if they go on a run, they can be dangerous in the tournament. And I think if they're in the bracket, I would have them going far. That's all I'm going to say. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And that's all we have for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The John, your sports stump, where I spoke about how these big NBA trades have looked. If the SEC can have 4 number 1 seeds in March Madness, and can Kansas State make the tournament after an awful start to the season? Let me know what you guys think about my takes today in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I tackle the hottest topics in college sports and beyond. It's a 2-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest takes in sports. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports stump. We'll be answering nature's booty call with some clutch sports info. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John, signing off.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.